Reveal it, Playboy.
If it wasn't for the devil, would God be bored? I noticed that you don't pray to the sky no more. I know every payday you find the store, then find the club, move your spinal cord. When you hear about queens, you think of them. I see you and your friends replacing them. Wait till you learn your ancestry and how whitewash past affect thee. Our parents had it incorrectly. Things we can't let go, let be. You really want more than this Camry? The kids are watching, the men are flocking. When God was calling, your phone had blocked him. Your love is your love, you gave it to men. They didn't want that, they barely hugged back, they violated. Who got you jaded? I made you famous, you made for painters. My goal, my aim is to educate it, not penetrate it. I'm elevated, let's celebrate it. Brown skin cutie, I love you so. Never let the world come for you, know. You're my world, yes I think so. Binge watch all your episodes. Baby, who taught you the X and O's? Big Draco tryna kiss it through the phone. Gene Aiko, I love your tone. Bells around, jeans be on. All we do when Jeezy on. All we do when Jeezy on is turn up like when Meech was home. Them bills we paid it, girl, that's the basics. I need you licensed, your looks are striking. The code is frightening, I need you Viking. I need you wiser, I love them ripen. They too excited, they unexciting. They always biting, you know the real thing, you barely like it. I got no old mix, I'm grown, I'm focused. You only want him, you never want me. I'm better for you, you never gonna see. But get your money, I'm getting ducats. The chairs are leading, I'm getting buckets. I was just grieving, I was just slumping. Didn't know what saved me from all that dumb shit. Ran away though, I was erupting.
Just like man, we back with another week of Hood Humor, man. Hood Humor back on this Sunday evening. I'm here with Mr. Amos Wellington, attorney Charles Stringfellow, and my boy American Foreign, you know what I'm saying, Jude, Janky Rampers. Yeah, man, we back, man. Mr. Wellington, man, we good. It's good to have you on the show. Mr. Stringfellow, it's good to have all you on the show again. You know, Mr. Stringfellow, we talk a lot of shit with him throughout the few weeks. Mr. Wellington, what's good, man? Why don't you let the people know a little bit about how you know, we happy to have you.
Okay, well, brothers and sisters, everybody out there, I want to thank you guys first for having me here at Hood Fun. My name is Amos Wellington, teacher, coach. This is my 27th year working with young people. Been working with young people since I was a teen myself. It's my first job in college. I sold a few baseball cards and rented a few VHS tapes way back in the day. But my first job with a W-2 was coaching young people in, Los Angeles County here, Fairfax High School. Currently working at Antelope Valley College, and I teach over at one of the high schools here in Palmdale, which is in LA County, North LA County. Yeah, really cool. Big fun.
That's what's up. Mr. Stringfellow, I know some of the people who follow us, they're familiar with you, but you go ahead and let them know where you coming from, where you at right now, what you do.
I'm Taurus Stringfellow. I'm with Stringfellow Taylor and Associates. I'm an attorney in Houston, Texas. Criminal defense and personal injury.
Criminal defense, personal injury. So if y'all down there in Houston, Texas, y'all need some attorneys, some of y'all that slip and fall on the job, you know, some of y'all that may see a puddle in Walmart and want to walk in.
Car accidents, big truck accidents. Hey, we do it.
Some of y'all that want to, they do it all. They do it all. You know, that's what's up, man. We good to have y'all. And like I said, my boy American Foreign Jews, man. What's up, man? What's going down in the Kakalaki down there? How the weather going down out there?
Everything is love, man. Everything is love. Happy to be here. I don't want to be seen. I just want to be seen on the screen. I'm your engineer. Hood Humor Podcast, episode 11. Hey.
My boy Jay. Like I say, man, everybody. But man, we're gonna jump right into this, man. It's a lot of stuff that's been going on, man. You all seen it, Minnesota. The Derek Chauvin case that's going on. Then there was also another young male, 20-year-old, who was who was shot and killed by a police officer in Minnesota. There was also military active soldier who was pulled over by some cops. We just gonna get into it from our perspective, how we see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we're not going into it like, okay, now don't get us wrong. We're not no professionals. We can't, pass judgment on these people. Our word means nothing, towards these people. This is just our opinions, which we're entitled to. So with that being said, I'm gonna ask this question to all you gentlemen. Should we as Black Americans support the Stop Asian Hate movement? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, we don't condone it, but should the Black community support it?
Wow. All right, when you say support it, what do you mean? Financially, or do you mean that should we go out and march? Or should we put dollars behind it? What are you saying?
Give me 1 second, because I got a helicopter flying overhead.
All right.
hey, this real hood humor. This South Central LA.
Man.
Yeah, no, but what I mean by supported is mean, okay, for those of you who are not familiar with it, maybe, Jews and Tars down there in Texas, South Carolina, in March 16, 1991, Natasha Harlan, she was killed by a 51-year-old Korean American store owner. I don't know if y'all remember that, around the time of Rodney King riots.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what I mean by support is, even with the riots, when the riots happened, did the Asian communities come support the Black communities? No, they loaded themselves up with weapons to defend themselves against Blacks. So what I'm saying is, should we really be open? Wait, hold on, helicopter coming back. My whole thing circling around me. Saying, should we really support them? Like, should we be out there on the front line? Because like how Black Lives Matter is out there, should we push that issue with them?
Man, I guess that's a personal decision that each person will have to make. But as an African American in America, I can't condone any type of discrimination of hate or toward any race, period.
I agree.
Because as a people, we have experienced it. So I can't condone it against another race. And to go tit for tat to say that just because they did not support us as we feel they should have, that doesn't mean that if a person chooses to, that they shouldn't support them. I mean, right is right and wrong is wrong.
Yeah, I agree with you. What about you, Mr. Wellington?
Well, let me tell you, I grew up in a very mixed area of Los Angeles. Mixed in the sense of school, not necessarily in my neighborhood, but at school, growing up with folks, playing sports with folks, on my teams, in my classes, counselors and things of Asian backgrounds, Black, Russian, Jewish. So I've come across a lot of different folks. I have not experienced direct negativity from the Asian community. Now, as a Black man, of course, any immigrant group that comes here, they recognize that we are on the bottom, right? They recognize that we are on the bottom, and they don't want to be, and nobody that comes here, doesn't matter what decade it was of the 20th century or earlier, whether it was the Irish, whether it was the Germans, whether it was, Jewish people, European Jews, Scots, nobody wants to be on the bottom. Cats come here, they see us, and they say, well, yeah, you guys were in slavery a long time ago, yada, yada, yada. And they listen to the narrative that, we haven't worked since, or in some cases, right? And so I have no time to force or push Asian hate, right? And I did not put up a hashtag or anything like that. I just just live my life and love people. And I give them the opportunity to exchange with me ideas, and make sure that they understand where, I won't say where we're coming from, but where I'm coming from. And so if I can listen when they're talking, they can listen when we're talking, then we got an opportunity for an exchange of ideas. When, if we tell, and like when we talk about Asian hate, how far are we going with it? Are we going back to John Wayne playing Genghis Khan? Are we, we do love, you know what I mean? Like the Hollywood, where every image of Asian women was, they're a geisha, and they've got the powder white makeup and all that kind of stuff. Because I know some real hood Asian girls, one, because there's the mom and dad that own the beauty supply, and then there's the daughter that works there that's running behind the brothers and making sure they got.
That's gonna love you long time, huh?
So we have to.
They've been assimilated.
What I mean? We hear together. It's all love for me. Thinking back to '92 and the riots. I mean, it's April. It's April now. We're looking at 29 years ago. LA uprising and whatnot, and the Korean store owners that took up arms to protect their businesses. I ain't mad at them one bit. I wasn't out there trying to get a couch, a TV, dog, or anything else. And if anybody was trying to come up in my store, and the police were, sitting back at headquarters, relaxing with their feet up, then I would have to do what I had to do, just like they did. So I'm cool. I got no issue.
Yeah, and just for a lot of people who don't know, I know some people may say, damn, well, what happened to that lady? Well, a lot of people don't know. The young lady, Latasha, she was shot in the back because this lady had been robbed so many times. This lady thought that she was coming in there to rob her. So she had orange juice in her hand. She was walking to the cash register, so she was shot in the back. Come to find out, the girl had $20 in the other hand, which meaning she was about to pay for it.
She was at the counter. She didn't walk out.
Yeah, she didn't walk out. She was at the counter. Yeah. So a lot of people say, what happened to the lady? Well, this is what happened to the lady. She was granted 5 years probation, 400 hours of community service, $500 in restitution and funeral costs, but she didn't get no jail time because they gave her time served. So when a lot of people see these cases that's not really going the way that they think they should go nowadays, like the Trayvon Martin cases and stuff like that, this isn't nothing that just started. Yeah. This has been going on since the 90s. Just that people just starting to pay attention to it. You see what I'm saying? So that's why they say you got to be woke. But I say that to say this too. This leads me into my next question. Before we try to tackle those issues and try to stand up for other people, should we try to end the black on black crime before tackling other issues? What do you think about that?
I mean, I think they should be addressed simultaneously. We don't have to address one or another or make a choice. Because honestly, the black on black crime is a major issue in our community. We are our own worst enemy. And we show little value for human life. So how can we realistically expect the white man to value our life if we don't show or demonstrate value for our own life?
I agree.
We out there, we act like we're out there murdering each other savagely every day on the news. You see it. It's not, you don't see the white man doing it every day. You see us doing it to us, but when we do it to ourselves, we don't say nothing.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. I was gonna say something counter to that, but no, I agree with that. Yeah, I gotta agree with that. What about you?
Well, let me first let me just say that black on black crime is a hashtag. It's a sentiment. crime is about proximity. And, if we hadn't been subjugated by the state, by this nation state in every province and every, city and region, and not allowed to purchase where we want, purchase where we can afford, they put us together. They said, you guys can only live in these little box areas, and, through redlining. And so we live next door to each other, and that's who, our crimes are committed against. We got 4 brothers on here. None of us are criminals. We're all professionals taking care of our families and doing the best we can.
Allegedly.
And well, yeah, I mean, but the thing is, as Brother Torres, as you said, you see us on the news doing these things, but we don't produce the majority of crime. We produce, of course, the high percentage of crime against one another. Again, I think that's based on proximity. In the same vein, whites commit 80+% of crimes against whites, right? Overall, because they have the majority of the population, they do commit the majority of the crimes. We don't see we don't see those percentages because it's not something that the media is pushing, right? The fear of 4 black men, good looking, handsome, tall, strong, fit, homeowners, college, educated, whether it's college or, informally. I
appreciate that.
Hey man, listen. hey, my grandfather finished the 8th grade, but he worked for the Department of Water and Power for 43 years. He owned his home. Yeah. He passed down life insurance, property, and a whole bunch of wisdom to his family. You know what I'm saying? So education is far more than a little 6x8 sheet of paper. But
education is key.
But we are not, we're certainly not the savages that that they push us to be, and they propagated in the films and for years and years before they even allowed us to act and play our own roles, right? And the first thing played at the White House, in the Birth of a Nation film 110 years ago, you got the myth of the rapist and the scandalous, black man that's chasing down these white women. I'm like, well, where's the history of black violence against whites? There's no history of black violence against Asians in mass, right? You're gonna have some knuckleheads that do certain things, but we don't have that violent tradition. It's just not there to go out and be hateful and do all those different things. People are put in a box, and you give them 18 crumbs to share. In certain circumstances, the strong are going to survive. And, we definitely have things to address. But I think most of those issues are more economic than they are, a nature type of issue with Black people.
Yeah. I mean, I've always had this saying too also. This is just my opinion, but I said in the Black communities, we have been raised to survive, but we weren't all taught how to survive and build. A lot of us don't know how to build, and a lot of us are learning how to build. Everybody has a survival mechanism. I don't care what hood you grew up in, because every state got a hood in it. So everybody that's Black who grew up in the hood got that survival bone and gene in them. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, like you said, the education level, that could be well-rounded in everything. If you have to be knowledgeable of certain things so you can progress in life. And a lot of people in positions to teach people that. A lot of people don't want to teach them, or a lot of people try to charge them to teach them the game. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, is like the game is not to be and listen. You know what I'm saying? So we need more people to, really run that game so people can get ahead, especially in the Black community, because it's like you got that jealousy role. A lot of people don't want to see you get ahead because they want to get ahead first, just to say, well, okay, you did it, but yeah, I did it first. Like, who cares? If you did it first or he did it first. long as we all get to that same goal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I agree. I do think that crime is driven by economics. Because the average, I guess, drug dealer or gang member, they want the same thing that everyone else, but they may want it in a different version. It's their American dream. They want the house, they want the cars, they want the money to be able to take care of their family and not worry about it. But they went a different way of achieving it. But I do think that things have somewhat changed now. This younger generation doesn't seem to be, they're motivated by money, but it's not, they're also motivated by clout. And there's a certain amount of clout that comes with how violent you are. The more bodies the more murderers you're considered, the more real you're considered now. It's not about the money. When I was coming up, it was about the money. It was the dude with the money. He had the money. Nowadays, it's about who has the most bodies, who is the biggest killer on the block. So that's been a change now.
And you're right. And that's that. You know what's so crazy? I got something to say to that too. That's so crazy you said that, because a lot of people seem to have that aspect that fear holds more respect. No, love holds more respect than fear, because people not going to kill something they love. People kill what they fear. You know what I'm saying? So in reality, saying like, if you want to go around thinking I'm Billy Badass, I got the most body. What's the ending of that movie? In every movie you've seen, who's somebody who's been in it. They don't live that long.
There's only two ways for that to end. You will be dead or you will be in jail.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
They don't see that. They don't see that, man. And that goes to what I was saying earlier. We have all been taught how to survive, but we haven't been taught how to build. You know what I'm saying? That's survival mode. Them cats go out there and murk anybody to survive. I need to eat tonight. I need somewhere to stay. I gotta murk somebody. That's survival mode. How you gonna build though? Ain't nobody taught them that, because 9 times out of 10, a lot of our parents wasn't taught how to build. You know what I'm saying? They were just taught survival. In the Black community, it's survival. Nobody taught them how to build. Nobody taught them how to stocks and bonds. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. It's just survival. But in the end, survivor only gets you, you survive in the rest of your life. Just mediocre. We call that check to check surviving. That's survival. But we gotta learn how to build.
It's interesting. My first year teaching, I got placed at a school. I was raised, I'm gonna say West Side. My neighborhood was, early 80s, definitely wild, definitely, drug sales, violence related to drug sales. And as the crash unit of LAPD began to lock brothers up, and as brothers began, and as brothers also disposed of themselves, properties were taken over, neighborhoods began to, shift and change. You saw gentrification start to take place. And so, the house that I grew up in, I can't afford to live in. And as an educator, I mean, I make fairly decent money. Okay. I'm not in the entertainment field. I don't get the privilege of, I won't say the privilege, I don't have the opportunity to charge $400 an hour, for my services or, for a consultation. But the house that I grew up in, I can't afford to live in at this stage. The first place that I worked, the first school that I worked at as a teacher, I worked with 2 master educators, many years of experience, 27 for one and 40 for the other. And that was the first time I got a chance to really sit down and talk about finances and real money, not just cash, right? Not just change, not just even silver coins. One of the guys, John Kamai, he mentored me, talked about IRAs, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, life insurance, trusts and wills, and setting things up so that, when you pass away, not if, right? People always talk about if something happens. No, sucker, you're gonna die too, right? It's 100 for 100. We're all gonna go, and we have families, and we got no paperwork. And then brother Taurus is here, and we got to call him up and say, hey, can you come represent me, because I got to fight over the house, that my that my grandfather left with my siblings and my auntie, and everybody want to come for a little piece of the estate now, because there was no paperwork handled. And so, that's definitely something that this needs to be the last generation born. If you're 20 years or older, you need life insurance. You need a term policy, at least, whether it's burial, a whole life, something. Okay, you can get that for $10 a month. You could be a smoker, cigarettes I'm talking about, and you can still get a policy to bury your behind. Still get a policy to have your behind buried, so people ain't got to have a car wash and pass the boot at the intersection and to put you in the ground or to burn your little butt up. We got the business. We got to do that.
I've always said I refuse to have my family sell some fucking catfish dinners to put me in the ground.
No.
Hey, but you know what? Like real talk. I mean, I don't knock anybody.
It's real,
right?
But and you know what? That goes to what I was saying. We were taught how to survive, not how to build. That goes a part of building. You have to know that this stuff is coming up. You have to build for the future and stuff like this. That goes to show you. A lot of people weren't taught how to build.
Yeah.
So I mean,
they put us. No, go ahead.
Was that?
No, so they put us in a survival mode. Because I mean, we're pretty much in a hopeless environment. They put us in a hopeless environment where you can't do anything but survive. You're not thinking about anything else but how the lights are going to be on. How am I going to pay my notes? Where's my meal going to come from? How am I going to take care of my kids? Yeah. Think about my life insurance policy. Like, that is something, it's hard to contemplate that when you have necessities that are more pressing at the moment.
Absolutely.
You know what? I tell people this all the time, though, Taurus. I say, listen, if everybody has a lot of bills that they pay monthly, where you can pay them off yearly. You know what I'm saying? Take a hit for a month. Pay the yearly bills off in that 1 month. Take a hit for a month rather than struggle 12 fucking months. You know what I'm saying? Just take a hit 1 month, pay the yearly bills off, especially when a lot of people get income tax. Use that money to pay off some bills yearly instead of doing shit with the money that you don't normally do, going to clubs, buying liquor all the fucking time. Everybody who get income tax money goes to the fucking grocery store and feels they throw the best seafood boil. You know what I'm saying? Save your fucking money.
Yeah, we do make financial mistakes.
Oh man.
That's what but you know what, man? Yeah, man, that shit is like real talk. I hate that, man. That shit pissed me off, man. I was at Ralph's Market, man. I saw this fat ass chick. She was in line talking about, I'm in line right now. This is my second day back here. Yeah, everybody was at my house last night, said I had the best seafood bowl. I said, yeah, there's a bunch of freeloaders with nowhere to go. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, you gotta think. You spending $200 out of your whatever stimulus or whatever to feed some niggas who ain't got nowhere to go.
Got to get your weave touched up. I gotta go get a new outfit, buy some. The new Jordans are out. I gotta go get cop my Gucci belt. We make bad decisions.
We make bad decisions. How many people went to auction to get a car? As soon as they got 2,000, I'm gonna go to the auction. They wouldn't have got a car for 1,900. Then they said, "How am I registered?"
Hey, look, that's a better decision than go and get a car note and you don't have a job.
Well, okay, so we're talking about so we're talking economics now. All right, so we're talking money. We're talking financial. We're talking financial education, financial literacy, right? After my having been exposed to those brothers, one had it was very interesting to look at these two brothers right next to each other. One had all the above: apartments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, okay, tangible assets over here. The other one had his house paid for, and he had a TSA, a tax sheltered annuity, where he had about 400,000 in there. So in addition to his in addition to his pension, he was going to get every month and be able to draw on the rest of his life. He was going to be able to supplement his income with that TSA, with that tax sheltered annuity coming out. So I leave. They're giving me so much game. I leave teaching for 3 years. I work for MetLife. I work for MetLife. I'm out here. I'm setting up area rollovers and 403Bs, 401Ks. I'm getting people set up stocks, bonds, mutual funds. I'm doing, like guests in a classroom. What do you call it? Like professional day, whatever, at schools, and talking money, teaching a rule of 72, all these different things. And, just talking about banking and loans and credit. My goodness. We get up, you guys talk about car auctions. My dad's been a car dealer since the late 70s. We had the first time I understood, this was way before that teaching, the first year teaching. A young lady came to my pops and she said, "Mr. Wellington, can you help me?" And I'm sitting here listening because I've heard this story. I've heard sentences. I've heard stories start like that before. She comes in. I remember the paperwork. I remember the numbers specifically because she had a 27% interest rate. Okay. She paid $19,000 for a car that was worth $8,000.
Wait, you said 27% interest rate.
27.
Like you just bought that? Whoa.
Yeah. She bought the car. Check me out now. Check me out. So she had put down, I can't remember what the down payment was. I remember the interest rate was 27. And I remember the car was $19,000, but she was going to end up paying over the course of 66 months, something like that. She was going to end up paying $38,000. And I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. Why is this car, why is the price of the car $19,000? Why is she paying over these 60 months almost, $38,000, $40,000 for a car that's only worth $8,000? So she's saying, and when you go in California, when you walk into a car dealership, there's signs all over the place they used to say no cooling off period, right? Once you sign that paperwork, if you pick the vehicle up, you're responsible for that note and that contract. And she's saying, "Mr. Wellington, can you help me?" And he's like, "Baby, I could have helped you yesterday." He's like, he's like, have you picked the car up? She said, "Yes." And then, it was a wrap. All she could do at that point was, hopefully they would allow her out of that contract, or, they could, she could, maybe refinance the vehicle, but she was locked into that 19 grand. And I was sitting there like, man, she can't count money. I was 12, 13 years old. I'm like, man, she can't count money. What is she doing? And so a lot of us in that situation, man, a lot of us.
Well, that goes to say, some people think that just knowing the basics will get them by. You got to know a little more than the basics nowadays. Don't think because, okay, I can add 2 + 2, I know how to get by in life. You need to know a little more than that. I tell you that, especially with the way technology is evolving nowadays, you need to know more than that.
Yeah. To start, and to start, if you can recognize, like, since we're staying on this path, one of the things I tell my students all the time is to use the Joseph principle. Okay, I'm talking about
what's that? Can you elaborate on that? What's that?
I'm about to break it down. I'm gonna let it be broke. Because I don't want anybody watching to be broke. So we're talking about Joseph the dreamer from the Bible, right?
Yeah.
And so Joseph saves Egypt, as the story goes. He saves Egypt by doing something. He interprets the Pharaoh's dream. The dream says there's going to be 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of lack. The 7 years are going to be wonderful, but the 7 years of lack are going to be so horrible that nobody's going to remember those 7 years of Fatland, right? So the answer to the 7 years of lack is to save the fifth part, right? 20%, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, save the fifth part of every harvest of those 7 years of fat, and that would sustain them during the 7 years of lack, right? And so whether people get paid monthly, every 2 weeks, on every sale, I have my children doing it. I'm like, listen, when you get your allowance, if you get $20, you save you save the fifth part, right? 2 times 2, that's $4 that you got to put away automatically. If I don't see it, you ain't getting no money next month. Period. Because I want them to learn. You're talking about the basics, Pete. When if they just do that, because after every 10 checks, if you got 10 checks, you save 2. Now this isn't something, Brother Torres, like you were saying, when people are in that check to check mode, they can't really get going in that. They've already created these bills. But if we ever have the opportunity to put our kids in a position where they can start with a decent foundation and say, all right, now I want you to go slow. I want you to stay here. I want you to get you a couple of checks flowed into your account before you move on out. Don't be in such a hurry to have a baby and put your little woman in here, your girl, and all that kind of things. Let's get you started. Man, but I'm telling you that Joseph principle, you get 20 checks in and you got 4 full paychecks saved and, got a little stash to the side, it functions. It flows nicely. Cool. What's up, brother? That's a nice hat right there.
Man, what is behind you, man?
Oh, hey, that's my boy G Shane. Hey Shane, come here. Y'all can check Shane out, man. Snoop Dogg put him on his Instagram playing his guitar, man. That's my boy G Shane, man.
Man, that's a cold lid, bro.
He's from Oklahoma, out here in California, man. Playing his guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But you know what, man? I got another question I want to ask y'all, man. This is for all y'all, because we are all in the Black community, grew up in Black community. We may not live there, but we came out of a Black community.
I've been Black all my life.
Black all my life. Even when my hair turned gray, I dyed Black.
Ready?
No,
man.
but okay, this question is for all of you. Are you gentlemen okay with ex-felons who are Black representing you in a council meeting? Meaning like some of the council members want these people, they encourage them to come out to speak. You think is that so they can say, okay, look who's representing these communities? You know what I'm saying? Do you think that's cool? Do you like them representing you?
I mean, me personally, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I believe if they've paid their dues to society, and they deserve every opportunity that's available to everyone else. And I believe that they're also in a position, a unique position, to understand things that other people, they have experiences that most people in that position have not experienced. And I believe they can bring that to the table. That's very valuable. So I have no issue with it.
Yeah, but before you comment on that, Mr. Wellington, I gotta say something to Mr. Stringfellow's comment. I agree with you on that, but it's like you hear that saying so much in the hood. You get a lot of people who've done time who come out and say, I know more than you because I did time. So do you agree that, okay, somebody who did 20 years in jail knows more than me because I didn't do 20 years in jail?
Oh, hell no. No, hell no. I don't believe that at all. Hell no. Just because you be in jail, that doesn't make you qualified to do anything. It just depends on what did you do with that time while you were in jail. Did you utilize it to your benefit? And then
Absolutely.
I mean, it's possible you do have the ability to be a productive member of society, to be on the council. So, I mean, I don't see an issue with it. Honestly.
What about you, Mr. Wellington?
Well, as Brother Torres said, anybody that serves time, if they get sentenced for a crime, by the jury or their peers, and they've done their time and they're out, if they're, whether it's an elected position, if the people in that district put them up, and they say that's who we want, God bless them. I have, you know, my uncle did a few years. He came out with a lot of perspective that he didn't have going in. Right? He was an entitled kid. He went to college. He started fooling around while he was in college with drugs and whatnot, and it took him down a dark road. He came out and he was not acting now like an addict and all those things. He's a florist. He's got a business. He's taking care of he's taking care of homes and doing rehabs and different kind of things. So his hunger and his drive to be a productive citizen and live up to, the name my grandfather gave him. We ain't going back 200 years to figure out where, whose name was Wellington, but we're going 3 generations back and saying, look, your grandfather raised you to have some sense and left you, a will and testament and a life legacy, that you are responsible for. And so if he was to, run for a city council, school board, dog catcher, police review board, whatever it might have been, if people elected him, God bless him. That's how I feel.
I agree with that. And only reason I asked that question is because in the LA area, I've gone to a lot before this COVID, pandemic. I went to a lot of meetings. They usually hold them at churches, Jan Perry's, Yvonne Broadberg's, people like that come out over the last 10 years, But I noticed that a lot of people who speak at these are like former gang members, 2-time felons, that come to speak, and they make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I pay attention to the people that's listening to them. Like, if all 4 of us right now was sitting in a council meeting, say all 4 of us was from LA, and we were sitting in the council and we had a 5th homeboy. All 4 of us are educated, never been to jail, none of shit like that. But we got one partner who's a 2-time felon, and anytime he get caught again, that may be his last time. But he's speaking here. Are we comfortable with him representing us, knowing that we're educated Black males from that same community? Do you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. Go ahead, Brother Torres.
No, go ahead. No, I was just trying to get some clarification. I mean, if he has gotten his life together and he's sincerely on the right path, doing the right thing, I mean, I'm not concerned about him veering off committing another crime, therefore being subjected to 3-strike rules and he's out of there. But if he's doing that, that means he's not really sincere about being on that right path anyway. And eventually that's going to come back and catch him anyway. But,
yeah.
I would just say, quickly that if when you said you pay attention to, who's listening, to those impassioned speakers, when I attend meetings, board meetings, city council and things like that, if it's not something that pertains directly to my block, my home, something that when I step up to the microphone, or if I write a letter in to be read, in this virtual world and whatnot, I'm writing on something that I'm passionate about, that I feel like I'm somewhat of an authority on. I've done some research. I've asked a few people and, done some reading, looked at some statistics and things. And so I'm going to send something in. If a cat has all that lined up and he's ready to go, God bless him, man. Take the mic, and break it down.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right about that. But, I've always, now don't get me wrong, I like anybody who's standing up for their community. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I don't care if you're the bad guy or the good guy, you're still part of that community. So your voice needs to be heard. But, I say that to say this: a lot of people who are in positions to speak, they should speak. Stop waiting for somebody else to speak for them. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people looking for change and it's not coming. You might be that person that makes that change. You know what I'm saying? If you speak up. So I'm just saying that to say this: a lot of people, need to find that bone, that backbone, speak up. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait for somebody else who's been through a lot of shit to come speak up. You don't have to go through tough times to express yourself. A lot of people feel that. They don't say, no, show me in the Bible where it says you got to go through hell to have good feelings. They don't say that. You know, so don't think that you ain't went through hell, you don't have nothing good to say or something to encourage somebody by. You know?
Yeah.
But one more thing about the felons, though. I believe that the felons should have an opportunity to come out and have a job in which they have a livable wage, in which they can actually take care of their families. Because a lot of times they come out here and they have to do these menial jobs that they're not even making enough money to take care of a family. So what other choice do they have but to resort to going back to where they were into the street?
I
You give them a second chance to go out here and make a livable wage where I can take care of my family. I have an opportunity for advancement, and this felony on my back won't follow me for the rest of my life. I believe things could be different.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. Well, I don't know what's going on down. I mean, I don't know what they have like the programs in Texas, but out here in California, like we've mentioned on this show quite a few times, they have a program called the Los Angeles Target Local Hire Program. The priority people are felons, homeless. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You go to this class, it's a 4-hour seminar. They put you on the list. The city of LA puts you in different departments. You work, you're on a year probation. If you pass it, they hire you on permanent. You know, where you gonna get an opportunity like that to work for the city coming with a felon? You know, as a felon. Like
Right.
you have opportunities out there. A lot of people don't want to do shit. Let's be real with it. Cause I know quite a few niggas who just don't want to do shit at all. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta really read between the fact that you got some people that don't want to do nothing. And it ain't just in the black community. I mean, everybody in the hood, the black, the brown, you got the whites in the hood too. You got some lazy white motherfuckers around here. You know? We being real. Like we gotta stop making excuses. We make too many excuses in the black community. You know what I'm saying? You got opportunities for everybody. Like this one gentleman that I met, man. This dude, I mean, I'm not gonna tell his business, but he went through a lot of shit, but he's on the right track now. And I said, damn, this dude, like, you know what I'm saying? And like, when I hear somebody say, oh man, I went to jail once, I can't get a job. I know a motherfucker that been to Iraq and back, but he ain't never left LA, if you know what I mean. And he's living good now. So what's your excuse?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Some people just don't want to do nothing.
Well, I mean, those folks, you know, I won't say I don't have time. I don't make time, you know, to listen to a whole bunch of that. You know, because I'm a teacher, because I'm a coach, I'm sitting here, I'm like, look, this is your opportunity to get me for free. The state is paying me to, you know, give you this game. I got great granddaddy game to pass down to you. I can tell you how to count this bread. I can tell you where to get these, you know, get these free books, where to get meals, you know, housing. If you're, you know, technically homeless, you can get, you know, these, you know, motel vouchers, and you can do a lot of different things. This is the opportunity for you to take advantage of, you know, what I'm giving. Because when I leave here at 5:30 or whenever this practice session is over, all that game goes to my children. Everything, you know, you don't get me all evening, and I'm not gonna be in the barbershop for 10 hours on the Saturday, you know, screwing around, listening to a whole bunch of Who Shot John. I ain't got time for that. So it's not, and it's not that I don't want to, you know, be a blessing to anybody or anything of that nature, but you know, you gotta come get some game. You know, when I tell the kids, and you know, people in my age category, whether they're older, younger, whatever, make more money, make less money, own more property, own less property, don't make no difference. I tell them, like, there's certain circles where I'm the guru, right? I'm the guru because I've got the credit, I've got a couple of dollars, I've got, you know, a little bit of property, so on and so forth. And then there's other circles where, you know, I'm sitting here like this, like, you know, it's like it's Sunday and we're at Big Mama's house and I'm just, you know, soaking up all the game, because you've got to be Brother Torres is an attorney. He works in criminal defense and personal injury. When he's talking, I've got to open my ears big because he's going to drop something on me. I don't have a JD. I don't work in that field.
He might be representing DESHAUN Watson soon.
Hey, DESHAUN Watson is about to own that whole franchise. He's going to be right there owning NRG Stadium for you gonna sue him for defamation. Shoot, you got 22 women. You got 22 women, all got the same attorney, and none of them filed a police report. I better get on with that, man.
And one man.
I better get on, huh?
Yeah.
And one man.
They're trying to investigate it now, but we'll see how far it goes.
22 women.
No, but you know, not
one attorney. No police charge. Come on.
Oh, man, we know it's about the money. Everybody knows it's about the money.
But you know what, man? This is the shit I mean, I know we jumped off subject for what we was talking about, but since we here, this is the shit I hate. You know, I'm a Texan fan. Why they got to do my boy like that before the fucking season start? Now, you know, we had to go get Tyrod Taylor, Alex Smith. I mean, I like those two guys, but we got DESHAUN Watson. Like, come on, man. Nobody said shit about Big Ben when he was fucking them chicks and taking ass. Now they want to get on.
Hey, Roethlisberger, that brother right there, as long as he could throw the ball deep, they were going to cover for him. You know, the young lady.
I love Roethlisberger as a quarterback, but I mean, come on, man.
But again, you're talking about now. You're going to talk. Yeah, thank you. You're going to talk about. Listen. How many brothers can get away if Benjamin Crump had been a quarterback instead of an attorney? Would he have had the nickname Big Ben? No, he would not have had the nickname Big Ben, because that's a European, that's a British, that's a London thing. And Ben Roethlisberger is, even though he's the rapist that he is, he can throw the ball deep and he can stand back there and stand tall with a great shape.
And he had already won a Super Bowl by the time those allegations came out. So you're gonna give him a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
You're right. And you know what, man? I'm gonna throw something way in left field for y'all, man. Out of the ordinary, not out of the ordinary, but just something left field from sports. I was reading up on that Sharon Osbourne thing. I know you guys heard about it. I just say something associated with her. They kicked her off that show because of the controversial racial comments and things like that, which I'm not going to elaborate on. Everybody knows about it. But I was laughing. You know, Michael Vick, he went to jail because they say animal cruelty with the dog thing. That's no secret. But wasn't she married to a guy who bit a dove's head off on stage, a few bats' heads off on stage? Where's the animal cruelty at in that?
That's entertainment, man.
So you mean to tell me Mike Vick can go to jail and do time for some dogs being killed on his property, which he wasn't even there, but you got this guy on stage biting animals' heads off, and they say it's entertainment.
Look, let me say this. Back to Minnesota, where we started. Really quickly. Listen. The officer a year ago that was sentenced, the brother Muhammad something, the cop that shot the Australian woman, that he said he had a dog, had said that she had a gun. She didn't have a gun. He killed the white woman. He was charged with second-degree murder.
Yeah.
And third, I think second and third. He had a $400,000 bail on him. This woman, former officer Kim Porter, killed Dante Wright. She had a $100,000 bail and second-degree manslaughter only. With the Glock and the taser thing. So you're talking about the value of what's considered to be a human life and what's still considered in 2021 to be, 3/5 of a man. It's whether it's Michael Vick and Ozzy Osbourne, whether it's Kim Porter and Officer, Muhammad, whether it's the young lady that the Korean store owner that killed Latasha Harlins versus whether it's Bill Cosby, you know what I mean? Whether it's Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, Bill signed a thing, he said, okay, well, we're not going to use this testimony. Then they come back and use the testimony against him and put the man in jail. I'm like, hold up, bro. There's rules for us and there's rules for them. Unfortunately, it's just the way it is.
You're
Exactly.
right. And you know what's so crazy though? You being an educator, Mr. Wellington, Mr. Stringfellow, you being an attorney, Mr. J and me, we're being in the musician fields. How do you feel about in school? We all have children, like your kids being taught, the LGBTQ things. Do you feel that's right, being taught to them in class?
All right, what do you mean taught? What are you sure? Let's get a little clearer. What are they teaching them now?
I can hear a rat piss on a piece of cotton right now.
What are they teaching them? I know that they are acknowledging it.
No, I don't know about the education system in Texas, but I know.
He said, "What do you mean taught? They are acknowledging." I like it, Mr. Stringfellow.
Fuck all that shit. Let's be real. Like, I've worked at a school before where one of the teachers, which was a very nice guy. Like I said, I don't have nothing against people who are gay or lesbian because I see them as people. Whatever they choose to do, that's their business. Whatever you want to put up your ass, that's your business. This guy had a rainbow flag in his classroom. And I was like, it didn't bother me, but I know one of the students was bothered, and it was like they couldn't do nothing about it. So I was like, wow, it's like you take "In God We Trust" out of the, Pledge of Allegiance in school, but now you're not, you let this go on. Why don't you just let all of it go on? If you're going to let all of it go on. I'm not saying stop this. I'm just saying if you're going to do this, why don't you let all of it go on?
Oh, that's a tough question, man. I'll let somebody else, Mr. Wellington, can address it first.
I'll tell you, one of the most difficult conversations I've ever had with a student happened about 3 years ago. And, I received an email from the student the day before school started. It was like a Sunday night before the first day of school. And the student says, I'm gonna create a name for the scenario. The student says, my name is whatchamacallit, but please call me Longfellow, right? And I'm like, I did not acknowledge the email. I know it was one way, thing. When I spoke with the student, I accidentally said the name that was on the typed roster, right? And this student who was born a female, but was appearing, male, and wanted to be addressed as a male, right? And listen, at the time, this was the first student that was vocally like, hey, I'm thinking about transitioning, this, that, and the other, whatever. Can you call me this other name? And so I was dancing around it. It was really difficult for me. It never happened. I'd heard about that, but it never happened, for me or to me. And so what we settled on, I asked the student, I said, would you mind if I called you by your last name? Would that be, offensive to you? Because this is new to me. I'm old. I was born in a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago. I was born in the 70s. I'm looking at, bell bottoms and butterfly collars and,
along with Stringfellow, huh?
Yeah, when you was born, I mean, seriously, in the 80s, if when I was in elementary school, I knew my man Rodney was different than the rest of us. I didn't know why he was different. I just knew he was. I love Rodney to this day. God bless him wherever he is. But Rodney was over there playing jacks with the girls and double dutching and stuff, while the rest of us was, arm wrestling and, playing football and all them kind of things. Now, people was calling Rodney gay. I didn't even know what gay meant. We was just young. So nowadays, though, like you said, like Dave Chappelle said it like this. He said, do I have to change up my whole pronoun game just because, you decide you want to identify as, this or that? As a teacher working with other people's children, right? I got to be respectful. If your child comes up there and they're telling me, hey, can you call me, Pippi Longstocking? Maybe, let me let me work that out. But for right now, hi, sweetheart, hello. Oh, your hair is so beautiful. Oh my goodness, look at you.
That's my son, not my daughter.
I didn't say. Hey, what did I say? What did I say? I said, sweetheart. I said, your hair is beautiful.
Yeah,
that
I know.
Child's hair is beautiful. You got
hair like a dad.
Your pronoun game.
That's what I'm doing. It's all right.
Yeah,
You're ready. We're ready.
Very gender non-specific. Yeah.
I'm telling you, especially in California. I mean, like if you're brother, you're in South Carolina, and and brother Torres is in Texas. I think it seems like when I've been to Texas, I haven't been to South Carolina. When I'm in Texas, I know that the line of morality is a lot more definitive, at least on paper.
Right.
Yes. In terms of black and white, in California, hey, it's gray. It's it's wavy. It can be pushed this way or that, depending on who's talking and who's being affected. But I will always know that the law is going to be enacted against me to the fullest if I'm the one that is confusing, the pronouns. I know the administration is going to say, we do.
Hey, but you know what, man? You know what? I got one more question I want to ask y'all after this question, man. We're gonna probably like 8 to 10 minutes. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna get into, just some free talk. But I gotta ask this question. This is mainly for you, Mr. Wellington, because you're in California. My boy Jules in South Carolina, Taurus in Texas. They already can reap the benefits of this Second Amendment law. You know what I'm saying? But you and I being in California, we don't have the right to concealed weapon in California. Now, you and I being law-abiding citizens, we're not felons. We want to protect our families. We can't utilize our Second Amendment because these laws are based around, in California, criminals. Like, they don't want us to have guns because they fear criminals may get a hold to them. But what they don't realize, they're going to get a hold to them regardless.
Absolutely.
So, are we being robbed, not being able to exercise our Second Amendment right in California as tax-paying, law-abiding citizens?
Now, what do you mean we can't exercise it? Do you mean you want to conceal? You want to get a CCW? You want to get a concealed weapons permit?
I want to get a concealed weapons permit, but we can't get it in California unless you're active or retired police or military, or you can prove your celebrity status. You know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, shouldn't we be able to get it as regular citizens?
Well, I mean, we it's funny you mentioned that because
now you know why they stopped that in California. You being from California,
Oh,
you know why they stopped that.
Huey Newton, Eldridge Cleaver, and the brothers in Oakland taking long rifles to the state capitol, never aiming them or pointing them, but within the state's rights, they had the ability. That's the only time the NRA has come out against, guns and asked for gun reform was when brothers were armed.
And what state was that in?
I was right here where you at. I was in Oakland, California. NRA comes out and says, no, we need no, you can't brandish a firearm, this, that, and the other. And they, they're vocal. They were vocal in that circumstance, but they're silent when violence is perpetrated against us, whether it's by the police or by our own people, or whether it's family, friends, neighbors. And Brother Torres, correct me if I'm wrong. I read a statistic a while back, and I don't know how accurate it is today, but my understanding is that 70% of gun violence or incidents involving guns happens in the home against a family member and not necessarily as part of an active crime.
I've heard that. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I have heard that.
Okay. Yeah.
So with that being said, it's saying like most of the incidents that happen with gun violence are mostly going to happen from somebody rather than somebody outside.
Right. That's basically what they're saying. It's not often random acts of violence. It's usually someone someone you're in a relationship or in close proximity to. It's very seldom is it just a random act of violence from some person you've never met.
I love it if everybody had heat. If I could pack in my classroom, that would be beautiful. It wouldn't be no more. Shoes. Now, but see, here's the thing. And you asked this earlier, and you said how do we feel about the LGBTQIA community and how that stuff's being taught in the classroom. Well, I have three. My wife and I, we have 3 children. We homeschooled. My wife's a teacher at the house. I financed homeschooling, and we were able to introduce those topics when we felt they were mature enough and could handle, certain things, right? We didn't need to talk about the other genitalia. Like I had 2 girls first, right? So we didn't need to talk about genitalia until they were going to be somewhere other than here, right? We needed to make sure they understood, but help them underwear. They know how to use the restroom, they know how to wipe themselves and all that kind of stuff. So anytime we would when they go to dance class or they go to gymnastics or something like that, if we were never really with the drop-off ministry, we'd always kind of sit and, not hover, but just be around. And so we'd always say, my wife, she trained me real well to ask, is there anything to sit there in the parking lot and ask a few questions before we ever pulled off? I'm like, hey, is there anything we need to discuss, with your teacher before we leave? Did anybody try to help you in the bathroom today? Did anybody ask to see, compare yours with theirs and that kind of stuff? And so as far as the, introduction in the classroom to those topics, we didn't have to deal with that. We didn't have to deal with it. But like you said, being here in California, the elementary school curriculum statewide has these topics kind of on the calendar. And there's books and literature and things. And so, it's interesting because, when we were kids, and I can't speak for everybody's experience, I don't remember anybody that had 2 daddies or 2 mommies, in the 70s. And so,
well, in the 80s, I had a few friends that had two mommies, but
it really wasn't socially acceptable at that time. That came with a lot of stigma. So if it was like that, that was something they kept to themselves. And I'm sure the kids were trained like, you do not go to school and discuss this.
Yes.
That stays at home.
Yes.
And with that being said, how do you guys feel about certain celebrities now who feel that they have to make, they have to come out to the world via TV? Like, okay, no, nothing wrong with you letting people know what you believe in, but like, do you got to hold a special conference for it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that? Like, do you think that's necessary?
I mean, I believe it's a personal decision. You do as you please. I mean, if someone cares enough to listen, so be it. But me personally, most of the time I don't even care. It makes me no difference here or there. You gay or not? It doesn't matter to me. It's not affecting my life.
Yeah. Whether it's a celebrity, you mentioned earlier, a teacher having a flag in the classroom. As a teacher, we have.
Which was a great guy. He was a really great guy.
And I'm sure he was, but he's, if my child was in his classroom, I'd have an issue with the flag. I'd have an issue with the blue line flag. I'd have an issue with, the yellow, don't tread on me. I'd have an issue with any of that type of foolishness in the classroom where my child has to go. It's where education is compulsory and by law they have to be there, otherwise I can be locked up, right? So there's laws in the ed code that prevent teachers from standing up at their podium and talking about religion or talking about or talking down to a person about about their religion, right? They have we've got different things. Because you're there to teach your subject and not some of these side issues. And so a teacher's not supposed to sit up on their soapbox and talk about their sexuality, talk about their, relationship, too much. In a respectful manner, sure. But you start talking about, the triangles and the flags and all the different kind of things. Even with politics, it's the same as electioneering. Outside of a polling place, it's like, no, hey, don't bother me. I'm coming here to vote. Leave me alone. I'm coming here. I have to come here to take math from you, English, Spanish, biology, science. I don't want to hear about your, whether you're a Dixiecrat, a Trumplican, whatever you're, QAnon. I don't want to hear all that foolishness if we're taking math, right? If you got me for PE, I don't want to hear your religious philosophy. I don't need to be proselytized by you during ceramic class. You know what I mean? So those kind of things.
I agree with you on that, man. And like one thing I will say, I have a lot of friends who are homosexual, who are lesbian or gay. You know what I'm saying? And I grew up with these people. You know what I'm saying? I don't see them no different. Whatever you choose to do, that's you. Do I choose that? No. But I mean, that's what you choose to do. But with that being said, it's like, if you can give a joke, you better be ready to take a joke. You know what I'm saying? That's how I tell people. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna be in this circle, like, you can't sit here and talk about some shit, and then when we talk about you, it's like, okay, now I'm offended. No, it works for you. You can't call me a nigga and I call you something else, and then you mad. You know what I'm saying? It goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? But like real talk, like, I mean, this is real talk. It is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is California. I grew up in South Central. That's how we was raised. You know what I'm saying? We don't hold our tongue. We do what we do. We respect everybody. You stay in your lane, we stay in our lane. You know what I'm saying? But as far as that go, like they always say, you show respect, you give respect. You respect anybody. I don't give a shit what you do, what color you are. You show respect, you're gonna get respect. But as far as that, for everybody who been on here listening, man, we've been just chopping it up on some stuff, everything that's going on right about now. The Chauvin case, we have the military lieutenant who was recently pulled over too by the two cops. I know you guys seen that. He's filed a lawsuit against that police department, and I know a lot of people seen that video. And me personally, just my opinion on the video, I agree with what the lieutenant said. He didn't stop because he said I wanted to get to a well-lit area. And Mr. Stringfellow, I don't know if that's right or not, but if he didn't feel safe stopping in a dark area, is he allowed to pull to a well-lit area and pull over?
I mean, in Texas, that's allowable. It's allowable. But I guess within some reasonableness there, if it's what you call a well-lit area is 20 miles down the road, well, that may not be considered reasonable. But if we're talking about a mile or two, well, that could be considered reasonable.
So did he go 20 miles down the road?
No, I don't think
know.
so. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know enough facts about it. I'm just saying maybe the statement. I don't know if it necessarily pertains to this case.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, just from what I've seen, I mean, just from what we've seen on TV, I was just like, wow, like this dude is in uniform. He's an active lieutenant. You know what I'm saying? Like, and something that I've known being working at the airport before, when you're active military, you don't even have to go through security at the airports because you're active military. You're on government time. So I'm like, this dude, like, he's active. He got some rank on him, man. You gonna pepper spray this dude? Like, you feel threatened by this guy who's in active military? Well, maybe he did. He probably knew this guy was well more trained than him, but that's still not no reason to harass nobody.
Go ahead.
Just quickly, the only thing that I want to throw out is that the officer called it in as a felony stop in the first place, which was incorrect. The only thing they pulled him over for when he started talking to him was saying that he had a paper plate, which is the standard now. But he wasn't. Yeah. His vehicle hadn't been used in the in the commission of a crime. It didn't match the description of some violent situation that was going on. So they were just pulling him over because they saw a brother driving a new Bird with some dark windows and some dubs on there. And a felony stop has everybody's heart rate going through the roof. When you get that over the intercom directive to pull over, turn off, put the car in park and drop the keys out the window. I've experienced that before, and I'm here in the vehicle, right? And God willing, my arms, I have, my shoulders are feeling okay. Hopefully it wasn't a big shoulder day the day before, and I can keep my hands up here. I got to put some handles at the top of my car so I can keep them up just in case, because you're going to do a felony stop. So you're going to have some backup coming. He had a training officer, with him. They're taking multiple angles, guns are drawn, heart rate's up. You're barking. He said, you're about to, you're going to ride the lightning. I'm like, no, you're not supposed to be threatening. First of all, you don't really have a good reason to pull him over. Second, and the second thing, next, you reported it as a felony. So anybody in the area, they're going to come, guns blazing as well. And then you pepper spray the man when he's asking for a reason why you pulled him over, which was, I'm a private citizen. I've never been a police officer. I'm sure it's a difficult job. But, them people apply for that job. They get the training for that job. And difficult or not, it's difficult for me dealing with some suckers that want to, talk about how flat my feet are, how big my head is, or whatever. I can't slap every kid, into line, or excuse me, any kid into line and get them and give them a little bit of understanding. It's just not part of it. We gotta de-escalate. And I don't have a Glock or a bulletproof vest or a backup gun, a tactical knife, pepper spray, taser, handcuffs, zip ties. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how are you scared of me?
A lot of times,
and you see,
a lot of times these officers have egos. And if you question their ego, question their authority, that escalates the situation right there. How dare, I don't care who you are, you question my authority. I pulled you over. I'm I'm asking the questions. You don't ask the questions here. I'm in control. And once you do that, a lot of times that whole interaction goes sideways from there.
And you're right. You know what's so crazy too? Anybody can look this up. You can type this in your Google. Anybody who's watching. There was another story that was broadcast on another podcast. I can't remember the young lady's name, but I listened to it, and they had a guy who was pulled over by a cop. I want to say in the state of New York somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. But he was sodomized by this cop. You know, the cop had handcuffed him and took him somewhere and sodomized him. But the guy got on the air saying that he wants to forgive the officer who did it. It was a black guy that happened to him. It happened by a white guy. And people were like, this cop pulled you over and sodomized you, and you're on air talking about you want to forgive him. Like, bro, like, he must have liked it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there may be some religious component to that. Don't just go there. Now, come on,
now. I'm telling you, I have, you know, the very close to that type of situation. The young man that was killed in the alley the other day in Chicago, 13-year-old young man.
I heard about that. Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, he turns around. They say he had a gun. Even if he did, it was literally this fast, bang. You know, he was directed to turn around with his hands up. He did that. So even if he did have the gun, he's here. It's not here. It's not there. And so, you know, the threat of, you know, to go back to that old, you know, adage of, you know, I was in fear of my life. It happened too quick for me. You know, your willingness to take a life. And I understand. I want to get home every night. Every day I leave, my biggest umbrella goal is to get back home, put my key back in the door later on, you know, that evening. But my God, man, I mean, you talk about forgiveness. I want to forgive. I want things to happen. But that child sitting there next to you, that child sitting right there, my knucklehead 13-year-old son, my 15-year-old daughter, my 17-year-old daughter, forgiveness is going to be the last thing on the list of things to do if somebody, you know, removes one of my children from this earth or violates them. And I hope, Lord help me. I ain't never got to, you know, make that decision. But, you know, what Robin Harris say? Gotta go.
Hey, hey, speaking of Robin Harris, me and Robin Harris went to the same high school. Shout out to Manyards High School, man. All the alums, man. You know, shout out to Robin Harris. Rest in peace, man. One of the greatest comedians.
Man.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine, man.
I mean, and you know what? I agree with you, man. You know, that we're here as men who are protectors of his kids. You know what I'm saying? God put us here on this earth. And we had kids. He put us here in his image to protect those kids. We got to do that. And like I said, anybody do something to your kids, you go to the end of the earth to revenge that shit. I don't give a shit who it is. You know what I'm saying? That's your seed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you're a real father, like I said, there's a difference between anybody can have a kid, but not everybody can be a father.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Unbelievable.
But, that's real talk. But you know what, man? We ain't gonna be in here too much longer, man. Like I say, my brother, hey Tars, man, Mr. Wellington Stars, you know what I'm saying? Before we get up out of here, man, you know, you got anything to say? Anything, man? Just let us know something. Tars, let's start with you.
Oh man, I don't have much to say. Not much at all. But I just appreciate being here, and I enjoyed the conversation.
Tars said, "I'm just sitting here with my shirt and tie on and no pants."
Can you guys give me where I just need, before we leave, I do need to know where you guys rank Pam Grier in the all-time beauty list.
Hey, I forgot about that. This is my boy Jay. He asked that question before we went on. Mr. Stringfellow, Mr. Wellington, where do you rank Pam Grier in all time?
Let me give my top 5. I'm gonna go 1986 and before. Okay. I'm gonna go top 5, 86 and before. Okay.
Vanity.
Okay.
Look, yeah, I'm not going. I can't even make a list. You know, I can't do it.
Look, let me. Okay. If I'm doing a top 5, 1990 before or 86 before, Pam Grier's on the list. Okay. If I'm doing a straight 1970s list, Pam Grier's at the top. Pam Grier at the top in the 70s. Now, once I open it to Jane Kennedy, Felicia Rashad, who was thin, Felicia Rashad is Lord Jesus, and then her sister Debbie Allen on Fame. Now I got to, and then see you talking about a 5 with Pam. I'm gonna give her the 70s and say because of Coffee, because of Foxy Brown, because of the ass kicker that she was and the fine that she was. Who was the sister that walked out in Let's Do It Again in the opening credits, and when Bill Cosby crashes? It wasn't Jane Kennedy. She got the baseball bat legs, and she's walking. It's the same sister that was in Car Wash.
It's in baseball bat legs.
My memory's not that good, man. No.
But yeah, her, Pam Grier, Felicia Rashad, Debbie Allen, they in there. If I put on my 19 Patrice Rushen with the braids, I'm Jody Watley. I'm going pre-90 now, pre-90. We ain't in the Halle Berrys and the Angela Bassett's and all. We ain't in the 90s now. We in 1989 and before. But Lord,
you got Vanity. You got Vanity, Apollonia, one of them.
Yeah, but those chicks. I mean, really quick, just 10 more seconds. Those women.
Way more thought than I have. I
mean, those sisters. As fine as they were, they were 3/4 naked and that's the only way you kind of see them. That's all they had to contribute was nudity. Felicia Rashad could have on a business suit and be fine.
Ain't that what you and Mr. Stringfellow wanted?
Look, prove yourself in there now. Come on. Don't just put us out there.
I didn't know them. I wasn't going back there.
You saying Vanity or Apollonia. Nobody else mentioned them. So that's on your mind.
Hey, I seen The Last Dragon.
Yeah, whatever. I think you'll see more than The Last Dragon.
I seen The Last Dragon.
You put some research in here. You put some diligence in your search.
And I seen when Prince made her jump in that Lake Minnetonka.
Oh, you said Purple Rain. You saw Purple Rain then.
Well, I was 10 years old.
Me too.
And, look, you born 70, Taurus, you born 74?
75.
You born 74. Okay, 75. Look, I'm sitting here, we watching Purple Rain, and I'm like, when they downstairs in the bedroom and Prince is going to work, I said, that what we supposed to be doing? I was like, oh, okay. I was 10, homeboy. Before that, I was all Michael Jackson. After that, I was all Prince. I'm like, Lord, that Mike.
Mike wasn't doing that.
No, Mike wasn't doing none of that.
Mike wasn't doing none of
that. Hey, but before we get up out of here, man, hey Tars, man, why don't you let people know where they can find y'all at, man? What's that? The Stringfellow Taylor and Associates LLC.
Yeah, Stringfellow and Taylor and Associates. We have a website is up. It's STLaw GetTX.com. You can reach us at 832-742-0700. We have 1-800 number, but I don't remember it at the moment. So, but you can contact. Look, I don't call the 1-800 number, man.
Oh man, that's funny.
What about you, Mr. Wellington, man? You got anything to say, man, before we get up out of here, man?
Hey, just I appreciate all you brothers for sharing the evening with me and inviting me to be a part of it. I really appreciate the collective. It's always good to listen when other Black men are talking and share in the experience that the collective experience of our ancestors that have dropped on us and the things that we've learned, the things that we've sought out. Greatly appreciate this time. My podcast is I Represent the 2%. I'll put the link in the bio before we go, but I represent the 2%. And, it's from a Black male educator's perspective. Everything is not sweet and lovely and kind and quiet. Sometimes it's loud and braggadocious and angry and frustrated. And so I started it in December because I was like, man, there's a lot of people talking a lot of crap and ain't saying nothing. So I was like, and like you said, like we said earlier, they're not speaking for me. You know what I mean? They're talking from their Tuskegee, Alabama perspective, their FAMU perspective, their Howard University, their Tacoma, Washington. But they're not speaking for me. So I started that. And if you're in Southern California and you want somebody with a little bit of seasoning that can help your son or daughter with their speed training and things like that, feel free to reach out to me as well. You can email me at Coach Wellington at Gmail, COACHWELLINGTON at Gmail. And man or woman looking to compete in track and field all across country, they can come over to Antelope Valley College and we'll get them right.
Get them right. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Mr. Stringfellow, Mr. Wellington, and we got my boy Jules down there, American Foreign, South Kakalaki. My boy New York Dunn. Then you got anything coming up, Jules, man? Let them know something.
You can catch my podcast tomorrow on the Janky Ramblers podcast, available on YouTube. I'll be live tomorrow where I'll do a lot more talking. And also check out the episode that we have featuring 100 P. That's available on Spotify. YouTube took it down. Things got a little too janky, and we were playing some music that we didn't have licensed. So everything's a learning experience. But another week of getting the crack up with Mr. Stringfellow. I always look forward to that. And amazing guest in Mr. Wellington. Very well-spoken guest, very well-spoken brother. I enjoyed a lot of his points. So thank you, 100P, for providing the platform. If you don't have anything else, I'll play some outro music. We'll get up out of here.
We'll get up out of here, man. Y'all tune in, man. Y'all hit us up. Everybody got music, hoodhumorradio@gmail.com. Y'all hit up me at Instagram at Real100P. Y'all shout out to Brandon Black. He doing this thing. Y'all check
Brandon,
it out.
we hear good things, man. Nice shots for Brandon. Yes, sir.
Nice shots for B. Hit him up on IG at I am Brandon Black. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Unity, all love, no hate. Let's get it.
All right. And for my shameless plug, this song is off my 7 Summers album, available on all streaming platforms. I'm playing this song because this woman that I met sounds just like Mariah Carey with her voice, and I wrote her lyrics, so that's my pen and her voice. You know what we do when we make magic. This is Purple Clouds by American Foreign, available on all streaming platforms.
Like, you know what I mean? Never. Like, you know what I mean?
Said she's single.
I would never get you. That would be
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh man.
Oh.
Now we gotta get ready for the work week, man.
Mixed
Shit,
with
Monday coming up.
blues.
Yeah.
Every smile must be true.
Oh, it's late for you.
Cannot
Yeah, that's right. You got,
breathe you.
oh man.
Windows
Shit. I got another 30 minutes. I can go in here and flip channels before I gotta, shower.
Nothing at all.
Tell DESHAUN WATSON I'll holler at him tomorrow, man. He got my number.
They don't love us at all. You're everything I think about.
I told that boy, look, man, you
You're
can't do that.
everything I sing about. It's like heaven in my soul. You had me at hello. You never have to worry when you're loyal.
Okay, brother.
You're everything I think about.
All right, for sure.
You're everything I sing about. You're like heaven in my soul. You had me at hello. You never have to worry when you're loyal. Purple clouds move out all gold. I love you now. I love you old. I love your style. I dream you. I cannot drown. I breathe you. So tell the world you love me. Go tell those girls you love me. You're everything I think about.
Like, and it's fucked up. But that's just the way, like, oh. But I'm not gonna get another asshole. I'm not gonna fuck with nobody. Like, I'm done. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
you never have to worry when you're loyal. You're
if I was a
everything I
nasty
think
bitch, if I
about.
fuck more niggas, if I was just like, fuck
You're
this shit,
everything
I'm
I
pretty
sing
sure,
about.
like,
You're like heaven in my soul. You had me at hello. You never have to worry when you're loyal.
You say that you're loyal. The fruits of our labor will grow if we dating. You hoping we show you. Will the roots be them truth when them snakes in the grass? Shit, I'm hoping they call you. Cause we spending this money, comprehending this money. I was spending that money so much, I'm to blame if they say that you spoil. Move out of this gold, say that it's old, can't say that it's normal. Now when you royal, the trap was so hot, they thought we would crumble. Aluminum for you, I got something for you. The purplish portal. You walk in this here, you feel like you there. When you not there, that feeling get off.
You're everything I think about. You're everything I sing about. It's like heaven in my soul. You had me at hello. You never have to worry when you're loyal. You're everything I think about. You're everything I sing about. You're like heaven in my soul. You have